The Road Back to Wealth videos are about ideas to create a more wealthy society, one without the problems we are facing now with the banking crisis and all kinds of environmental catastrophes and social inequality, etc. You name it. And I would say that one of the elements of a wealthy society is, of course, that it's not too dependent on other societies. In terms of resources and energy, and the energy problem can be solved as long as people focus on solving it. And the smartest thing is to do not do nuclear energy, but do other types of energy, alternative energy, and not burn any more fossil fuels, because that's only increasing the problems around the world through global warming. But if you talk about other resources like metals and plastic, for instance, there is just a neglect of the ability to process used metals and plastic, to recycle them into usable new material, because nobody's going to tell me that it's more efficient to mine for iron than to get an old car and melt it. You know, that's such a high concentration of different types of metals. There's iron and copper and lead, and I guess some zinc. I have no idea what's all in that car, and some catalysts in the exhaust, all very useful, all perfectly enough to build a new car, you would say, because I would assume that car companies try to use less metal. Of course, recently the SUV laws that said that your car has to be over a certain weight to get subsidies caused them to be like huge fuel guzzling useless bricks of heavy weight metal. There's an advantage to that, because every SUV that you break down and melt and turn into a new car, you can build 1.5 or 2 cars out of that. That's a huge advantage, and you don't need to go to China to get that metal, because it's already in your country. And that's with lots of stuff. It's already in your country, and I guess you have to wonder, or I would wonder, if you look around you, do you need more? If you need more, then you would have to import raw materials or mine them. But if you don't need more stuff, street lights, cars, etc., etc., then apparently what you have is enough to make it. The raw materials are that you need to do whatever you want to do are driving around, are lying in landfills. For instance, plastic. You can recycle plastic in different ways. You can make pellets out of them. But there's an innovation that has been widely neglected, of course. It's a microwave technology. It is like using microwave to split plastic into its constituents, so you turn it back into oil. It's a US company that developed that based on military technology of microwaves that you can tune to specific frequencies. And this is of course very technical, but the bottom line is that if you see landfills full of plastic, then you know that you need only very little energy to turn all that plastic, for instance, into oil, which I wouldn't be very happy about if you start burning it, but anyway, that oil you can use to make new plastic. So you don't have to import oil, or you're not dependent on oil to make your plastic, as long as you catch the plastic that's been used. And it's floating around in the Pacific. You can just drag it out of the sea, but of course it's also filling landfills in the US. And so it's about not wasting. That's often said, and there's this cradle to cradle philosophy that says that you have to build things in a way that make it easy for them to be recycled, or you can build things in a way that make them food, so you make biodegradable products that don't make eternal landfills that nobody ever can go to because they're too poisonous. But you can also think it as a very serious opportunity to recycle cars into steel, to recycle anything, because you might not need more stuff. You just need maybe new stuff, renewed stuff. And the renewal can only be requiring the energy to process the old material into the new material. And if you have alternative energy, then you have everything you need for a wealthy society, I guess.